Okay, good morning and welcome to setting up Lotus Domino 8.5.1 on OpenSUSE 11.1 64-bit in VirtualBox 3.0.8 on Microsoft Windows 7 64-bit. This is part 3, configuring the virtual machine, and I am your host, Devin Olson. Thank you for joining me. Okay, we're going to go ahead and bring up our VirtualBox. Here it is. It's all set up and ready to go. We're going to play with it and have a little bit of fun. So the first thing we need to do is tell VirtualBox we want to create a new virtual machine. And we're going to go ahead and, yes, use the next button to go through the wizard. Not that difficult. And the name of my new virtual machine is going to be Open, O-P-E-N, SUSE. Domino server. Yay! And the operating system is, of course, going to be Linux, and it's going to be OpenSUSE 64-bit. I'm going to go ahead and hit next. This is where I define how much memory the new operating system is going to, the virtual operating system is going to have, and I want to give it. I'm going to go ahead and give it. What shall I give? I'll give it 2 gig. So 1024 would be 2048. There's 2 full gig of memory that I'm going to give it to the virtual machine. You need to be careful when you're setting up virtual machine memory, in that, obviously you can't put in more virtual machine memory than you have on your machine. You also need to make sure that you have plenty of memory left over on your host machine so you can continue to operate while the virtual machine is operational as well. Additionally, if you're going to run multiple virtual machines, you need to take into account the total net memory of all virtual machines if they're all running simultaneously. So you just gotta kind of be careful about it. VirtualBox is pretty good, but it's not smarter than you, and it can't know that you're going to run everything at once. So you just got to be careful. Now this machine right now currently has 8 gig of RAM, so giving 2 gig dedicated to my OpenSUSE virtual machine is not really that big of a deal. It can handle it just fine. I'm going to go ahead and hit next. We want to select the size. We want to select the hard disk image to be used. I'm going to create a new one because I don't have one that already exists. I'm going to go ahead and hit next. So here we go. It's going to help me create a new virtual hard disk. Yay. I'm going to choose dynamically expanding storage, and what this means is it will change size as I need it to. So I go ahead and hit next. Here's where I'm going to place my hard drive, and I'm going to place it, if you recall from part 1 of this series, I had set up some places where I wanted to run my virtual machines, and so I've got, that's from a previous installation, that's the Windows virtual machine. I want to run it right here, and I'm going to call it, in my virtual machine subfolder, I'm going to call it OpenSUSE OPN, O-P-E-N-S-U-S-E .VDI. I'm going to go ahead and hit save there. So there now I know where I've created it. The initial size is 8 gig by default. I don't think that's nearly enough. I'm going to give it, say, I'm going to give it 30 gig just for now. Now this can be adjusted at a later time. It's not that big of a deal. This is just the initial size that I wanted to deal with. So there we go. Set my size. I'm going to go ahead and hit finish. Go ahead and hit finish. There's my system. It's up. It's operational. It's not operational. It's my virtual machine. It's configured. I need to mount a CD or DVD-ROM for it. So I'm going to come in here and click my settings, CD, DVD-ROM. I'm going to mount a CD or DVD drive. I don't want to mount the CD drive. I'm going to mount an ISO, and by default it's picking that. And the reason why it's picking that is because I've done this installation before, and so some of this information is carried over from my registry. But what you would do here is you could go in and select what you have available, or you could go and say I need that, or whatever you said. So I'm going to go ahead and mount that, and we're ready to go, and I'm going to hit OK. And so that's set up, that's set up, that's set up. Let me come back here to my settings. I want to take another look on the video memory. Linux, open source, advanced, okay, life is good. I'm going to move my snapshots to another location. and because by default it's doing it here, and again, I like to be in control of where crap is, so here's my virtual machines. I'm going to make a new folder. I'm going to call this OpenSUSE, and so this is where snapshots for this will be stored as I need. There we go. That's good. I've got this. I've got my network set up, USB shared folders. If you recall earlier, I had pointed out that I had a shared directory on my machine, so there it is. I've just selected it. It's on my E drive. It's shared. We've added that in, and I don't want it to be read-only, so there it is. I could make it read-only if I chose to do so. Not really that big of a deal. Processor, acceleration. I'm only giving it one CPU to run here. There's my video memory. It's only got 12 megabyte. That's just silly. We're going to give it some decent video. I'm going to enable 3D acceleration. I'm not going to enable my remote display because I'm only using it on my laptop. So hit OK, and there we go. The machine is ready to run. Here's a summary of everything I've got set up, and my VirtualBox virtual machine is now ready for me to begin using it. Come back to the next part of the series, part 4, where we will actually begin installation of OpenSUSE. Thank you very much for joining.